Hey, hello everyone. I welcome you to Uniform Forces. I hope you guys are feeling rejuvenated after Diwali celebration. So in today's video, we are going to take some more questions which can be asked in the interview, and later on we'll discuss about the terrorism in Jammu and Kashmir in more detail. So there are some questions which can be asked about you. So first of all, you can be asked to introduce yourself. Now, there are plenty of ways to introduce oneself. Uh, my way is that when you introduce yourself, first of all, you start with your name, then the place you belong to. After that, what is your qualification or what is your profession? For example, if you have a BTech degree, so you can say that I'm a BTech graduate. I'm a BTech graduate in so and so stream. Or if you are a doctor, you can say I'm a doctor. After that, you can tell about your hobbies. Now, this has to be in one or two lines. Like you can say, my hobby is to read novels, or my interest is to listen to music. And after that, you can say something like, what are you doing currently? Or if you are living with family, you can say, I'm living with my family here and here. तो ऐसे करके आप आखिरी चीज को बोल सकते हैं. For example, you can say that you have been preparing for CAPF examination, or you are preparing for government examination. So this introduction has to be covered in maximum 5 to 6 lines, not more than that. Okay, so first thing is to introduce yourself. Now, more questions can be, what are your strong points and weak points? Since you are the best judge of yourself, so it is only you who know about your strong and your weak points. So you can, prepare some 3 or 4 strong and weak points. After that, they may ask you that, okay, Ravi, tell me what are the qualities which are required in a person to be an assistant commandant or to be serving in the forces. So they may ask you about the qualities that are required. So we sometimes call them officer-like qualities or leadership qualities. Then they may also ask you, what qualities are you possessing or are you having, and are you suitable to be appointed as assistant commandant? So they may ask you qualities in you, what qualities you are possessing. After that, they may ask you certain questions about your life or the decision you have taken in your life. For example, the toughest decision you have taken till now in your life, and something related to that. Then they may also ask you, what is your motivation? What is your motivation? I'm sorry, I know it's not that much visible. That's why I'm saying it loud. So, what is your motivation to join the forces? In this, you can say that you have watched so and so movie, or you can say that you have been watching people around you, or some people who are already serving the forces, or the ways you have been motivated. You have to answer that thing in this point. After this, they may also ask you, they may also ask you about the challenge, about the most difficult challenge, uh, difficult challenge you have faced in your life. So you have to tell about that. These are some of the questions which can be asked. Now let's quickly move to today's topic, which is related to internal security challenge. That is J&K terrorism. We all know that the origin of terrorism in J&K lies in the 1947 partition. So this is basically, we can say, the problem in Jammu and Kashmir, or the Kashmir issue is basically a long and protected war, or a low intensity war. So this is basically a low intensity war or proxy war by ISI. Now, what is low intensity war and what is proxy war? So low intensity war is basically a long and protracted strategy to achieve a desired desired result which can't be achieved through direct confrontation or attack or war. Okay, so it is a long and protected. Again, protected means same, something which take more than the usual time. So that is called protected strategy to achieve desired result, which cannot be achieved through a direct confrontation or direct war. We know that Pakistan is not in a position to, to attack India directly. So it is not in a position to indulge itself in the war with India. So that's why it has adopted this strategy of supporting the terrorist so that the terrorist can do the damage which is desired by the Pakistan itself. Okay, then there is proxy war. So proxy war is something which is not, done directly, but it is done in an indirect manner. For example, in case of India, the Pakistan, the ISI agency, the intelligence agency of Pakistan, is supporting, giving the shelter, all the money to the terrorists so that they can do the damage to India. That is known as proxy war. So proxy war is something which is not done directly but through an indirect means. Now, what are the reasons? What are the reasons for this J&K terrorism? So first of all, we can say that there are infiltration attempts at both international border that we share with Pakistan and LOC. Okay, LOC is line of control. Then second reason is the separatist forces or tendencies we are having in our own country, that is in India itself. There are certain factions, I'll not name them, but then you will be knowing them if you are updated with the current affairs. Then third is the I would say youth radicalization by these forces. So these are basically three most important prominent reasons for the terrorism in Jammu and Kashmir. Now, if I talk about the modus operandi or the way the terrorist operates in Jammu and Kashmir. So modus operandi is basically the way modus operandi is basically the way certain thing is done. So number one is to run malicious campaigns against India ताकि उसकी छवि को खराब किया जा सके. Second is facilitating the infiltration of terrorists. You may have seen many times that we have found certain evidences, solid evidences where the army or the military of the Pakistan has supported the terrorists in infiltrating through the borders. Then attack on secular foundation. You know that our country is a secular one, but then Pakistan is not a secular country. So they try to attack on the secular foundation of our country, on the secular institutions and ideology of our country. After this, the fourth point is internationalization of Kashmir issue. So basically, Pakistan leaves no opportunity to internationalization to bring the issue of Kashmir on international platforms like United Nations, etc. Every now and then it keeps on bringing them. Then after that, there are cases of use of children. So basically, I want to say about the cases of stone pelting, where children are brainwashed, they are provided with the money, and then put on the front line for both attacking and defending. So this is the modus operandi, these are the ways in which the terrorists operate in the Jammu and Kashmir region. Now moving forward, we need to see what are the measures that have been taken by the government, which are very important to know. Measures. So this is basically a multi-pronged approach or strategy. So if we talk about the measures, then multi-pronged approach is being undertaken, where various steps are being taken. So first of all, it is about strengthening of infrastructure on borders. Now here I would like to highlight the CIBMS, that is Comprehensive Integrated Border Management System. So this is basically entails a gamut of technology to ensure the surveillance of the borders. Various steps under it, like construction of border fencing, then improved technological surveillance devices or gadgets being used, then synergized intelligence is used, and then I have told you improved technological surveillance devices like night vision cameras, then thermal radars. So such kind of technology is being used under Comprehensive Integrated Border Management System. You can read more about it because it may be asked if you are opting for any border force like ITBP, SSB or BSF. Chances are high that it may be asked. After this, there are various developmental schemes to engage the youth positively. Basically, we are trying to provide a positive atmosphere and employment opportunities to the youth so that their energy can be channelized in a positive direction and for the development of the region, not only the region but also the country on the whole. So there are various schemes under it, like UDAN. There is scheme UDAN, which is to increase the skill set of the youth and provide them employment opportunities. After that, there is next scheme called Himayat, which is again a scheme for the skill development and employment opportunities for the school dropouts. So there are many students who, due to some reasons, are not in a position to continue their schooling or college. Then the government is providing them support to develop their skills and provide them employment opportunities through this Himayat scheme. After that, there are certain scholarship schemes. So all the people who belong to Jammu and Kashmir but they are studying outside Jammu and Kashmir, they are being provided with certain financial assistance under this scheme. Then if we talk about another good scheme, that is Umeed is basically for empowerment of women. So you know that women is a very important section in the society. So the government is trying to empower them by various means under this scheme. So these are certain schemes if I talk about, and then third point is trade on LOC. So for smooth trading, two trade centers have been established. One is at Salamabad, which is in Udi, and second point is Chakkandabad. Chakkandabad is another trade point which is in Poonch. Then there are certain steps for cultural development of the people residing in Jammu and Kashmir. Like there is a program called Bharat Darshan. Bharat Darshan is basically for the students of Jammu and Kashmir. They are taken on a tour, on an all India tour, so that they can see and explore the culture, the diversity of our country, and then enhance their cultural acceptance. Then there is Madadgar initiative for the Jammu and Kashmir people, and then a lot of other schemes are also there. You can read it on the Google. And the army and the police, the paramilitary or the CAPFs are also taking various civic action programs, various initiatives to provide them education. You have heard about army providing schooling to the students in Jammu and Kashmir, and then various awareness programs, campaigns being run by the CAPFs. So a lot of steps are being undertaken by different institutions of the government. So the interviewer may ask you that can the problem be solved actually? So you can say yes, it can be solved definitely. Though we understand, though we accept that it is a very difficult one, but then by various means, the steps the government is taking, it can be solved, but it will take definitely it will take some more time. And the government has already taken some steps like Jammu and Kashmir is now divided into two parts, and then it has been turned into a union territory, and then there will be follow up steps which will improve the security system or the security structure in Jammu and Kashmir, and also for the development of the people living over there. So this is it from my side. I hope I was clear to you, and I think this is enough for the interview part. And if you have any doubt, you can ask me in the comment box. We'll be taking some more internal security challenge in the subsequent videos. Till then, see you, take care, prepare well.